What up, Internet? Kevin here on TLD. I'm still around, have not been completely stolen by Tech of Tomorrow. I still got time to be here too. And those of you that have watched this for a while know that on occasion I've done the occasional iPad or iPhone game review, and now we're going to start doing a segment where I take my top 5 favorites of the past month and bring them to you guys right here. Now the first game I want to talk about is Rimmed Capsule. This was a game that originally came out on the PS Vita way back in May, and it was ported to both the iOS and Android the first of this month. Now what this is basically taking what makes up an RTS game and boiling it down to its bare bones basic parts. It's very minimalist in both its presentation and music. Basically what you do is you just have these little units that you can command to either collect resources, build new areas, or operate defenses to fend off waves of enemies. It's very simple, and the goal of the game is just to survive as long as you can while expanding as much as possible. It's a really simple, fun to play game for $4. It's really worth the time if you want something that's a little slow to start, but once you get in the groove of things you can just pick up and play it here and there and slowly make your empire bigger and bigger. Now next up we have the absolute biggest elephant in the room, the one game we can't ignore that came out this month, the long-awaited sequel, Plants vs. Zombies 2. Now one of the big differences right away is that this one is free to play right off the bat. You don't have to pay anything if you want to be able to play the full game and beat it. However, there are a lot more in-app purchases. In fact, not only are there different bonuses or ways to speed up the gameplay that you can pay for, but there also are some plants that you do have to purchase. There is no way to unlock them without spending any money. So as a result, if you're a completionist that wants to have every option possible, you will end up spending actually more money than you did on the first Plants vs. Zombies. Now that being said, the core gameplay is still just as fantastic and addictive as it was before, and still really worth playing, especially because you don't have to pay a dime just to play the main game. You just have to make sure you have enough willpower to restrain yourself from buying every single little in-app purchase they throw at you. Third on the list we have Asphalt 8 Airborne. Now this is a racing game that looks absolutely fantastic on the iPad and also controls really well with using both tilt controls and a little bit of on-screen tapping to activate different abilities. Now this is another one that does suffer a little bit from an inflation of in-app purchases. This time around the big thing is that if you want to be able to afford a lot of objects in the game, you will end up having to spend a little more money to buy currency. You can get stuff just by playing levels over and over again, but that will take a considerable amount of time. But that aside, the game is only $1, so if you just want a fun racer to kill time with, it's completely worth it. Now the last two games on this list both came out just a couple of days ago and are part of the same genre, and those are Terraria and Junkjack X. Now both of these games are world building games similar to that of Minecraft, one big difference being that they are in a 2D world with more traditional platforming and monster killing elements from old school games. Now one of the key differences between these two is the fact that Junkjack X is a sequel to an iOS game called Junkjack and is designed specifically for that platform, whereas Terraria was originally a PC game that we have recently seen ported to the consoles and is now available on iOS as well. Now personally, between the two, I found myself having a little more fun with Terraria. I really like the control scheme of that one a little better, although I will say that one of the upsides to Junkjack is that a lot of the pixel art is larger, so it's a lot easier to specifically target what you want to break down, whereas in Terraria you can have a bad habit of accidentally cutting the wrong area, or especially when you're trying to dig deep underground. Now both these games are incredibly complex and have lots of different things you can do in terms of late gameplay. It's way too much data for me to talk about in a full review. The point being, if you like world builders, both of them are definitely worth investing in. Each of them is only $5 and you'll easily spend way more time worth than that in them. Now I know I said that this was our top 5 games of the month, and that's still true, but I do have one honorable mention I wanted to bring up that came out at the very end of last month, and that game is Pirate Legends TD. TD as in Tower Defense. Now to be fair, this game is more or less the exact same thing as Kingdom Rush, but with a new coat of paint thrown on it with a pirate theme from a different company. But that still doesn't make it any less fun. If you're a fan of the Kingdom Rush Tower Defense series, then this is definitely one worth picking up if you just want something else to kill time on, especially it only costing $1 to play. On the other hand, if you've never played any tower defense games or you're curious in this certain style, then you should definitely look at Kingdom Rush first and build your way towards this one. There are a couple minor changes, but in the end, they feel very much the same. Well, that was just a quick wrap up of the top 5 app games, well technically 6 that I played in the past month that I really enjoyed. If there are any games that I didn't mention that you guys really liked, please make sure to let us know in the comments so I can give those ones a shot as well. If you guys enjoyed this vid and are looking forward to more content of this style, please let us know by hitting that like button, and also make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet because there's a lot of stuff coming up this year. We are hitting the holiday season, so that means a lot more reviews and a lot more content on TLD. As always guys, thank you so much for checking out our videos. I'm Kevin for TLD, and I'll see you guys next time.